with that person will be benefited by this lie, and so therefore I eventually benefit anyway. So I will give false testimony against someone else if it really, serves to be in my benefit. I would extrapolate that and take the falseness and the emptiness and all this stuff to really mean this. Anytime I use God's name for my purposes, that's misusing it. There's a blank. You can go ahead and write that down. It's using His name for my purposes. If I use God's name for my purposes, that's misusing it. I'll give you a couple examples here. It's very easy for us to think about Janice on Friends. Oh my, and whatever comes after that. It's very easy for us to think about the phrase, OMG, oh my, that kind of stuff. But have you ever thought that perhaps you're misusing it in many other ways? I'll give you a couple examples. Someone sneezes. What do you say? Bless you, or God bless you. Do you really intend for God to bless them because they sneezed? Is that the goal? Or is that just a phrase that pops out of your mouth with no real meaning behind it? That's an empty phrase. The only reason you say that is because social convention has told us we should, because ages ago people thought that when you sneezed it was your soul escaping, and so we had to somehow do some verbal voodoo to get your soul back into you. God bless you. Go back in. Something along those lines. But that's not the case. Now it's just become this pseudo-religious-y kind of thing that if you don't say God bless you to someone, now they think you're rude. But the point is that if you say that word, you can basically just be saying something empty. What about this one? I believe in God. You've just communicated to someone that you're connecting yourself with the God of the universe. If you're not willing to back that up with the way you live, you've spoken in vain. Am I making sense? It doesn't have to be a curse in order for it to be empty. It doesn't have to be a swear in order for it to be false. When we associate ourselves with God, there should be something underneath that, backing it up. Okay, so why is that so bad? Why is it so bad? Let me show you this other verse here. Jesus says this, I tell you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is His footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. Simply let your yes be yes, and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Again, God tries to hammer something on the way we speak. And He goes really far. He says anything beyond yes meaning yes and no meaning no, anything beyond that comes from the evil one. What is that all about? I think what God is telling us is there is something desperately vile underneath the surface of our lives. The evil one himself is lying in wait underneath your words, saying yes isn't good enough. You need to say, I swear it. You need to say, sure, I swear to God, I will do it. You need to say phrases like that. The evil one is down there just below your words saying, your yes isn't strong enough. Your no isn't strong enough. We're going to come back to this in just a moment, but we got to find out exactly why this is such a problem in God's eyes. Why is it so bad? Let me show you a picture here. This picture, I think, is just phenomenal. Please ignore the fact that I'm showing you an underwear model at church. This is Einstein's head, and it says at the top, ideas are sexy too, and he's got a tattoo. He's a cool dude. E equals MC squared, because that's what Einstein would tattoo on his arm. GM used this picture as an advertisement in People's Sexiest Men magazine. And they were trying to advertise that they're putting great ideas into their cars, and so they did this. Problem was, the people who own Einstein's likeness were not so happy. And so they sued GM for millions of dollars for improperly using Einstein's head. Don't tell them I just put it up on the screen, because then we might get sued or something. But apparently Einstein, as a dead celebrity, is fourth highest on the list. He makes $18 million a year. Einstein makes $18 million a year. He's dead. And he makes $18 million a year just by his likeness and intellectual property stuff. And so this is the thing. You misuse that guy, and you've just associated Einstein and all of his ideas and everything he stood for. You associate him with a car manufacturer, or worse yet, you associate him with an underwear model? Like, what is this all about? So the people who own Einstein's likeness say, we're not going to put up with that. We're going to sue you for it. The same thing happened when John McCain used a song from Jackson Browne. He played one of Jackson Browne's songs in one of his advertisements, and then Jackson Browne sued the McCain campaign thing back during their presidential campaign because he's a staunch Democrat and didn't want John McCain using his music as if to say that this guy was endorsing this guy. Here's the deal. Every single time we use God's name for our purposes, we are stealing from him. We are stealing his likeness, we are stealing his authority, and we are pulling it over to our way of thinking. That's why it's so bad. In fact, I've got a blank here you can fill in on the next page. God will not allow his character and his authority to be tarnished by the petty issues of sinful people. He just won't put up with it. So, with all that said, let's go down one more level. What's underneath it all? Now we understand what the command is all about. This is what it means to misuse God's name anytime I appropriate it for my own ends. I'm stealing from his character and his authority, and he will not allow his character to be tarnished. And if I choose to live a life where I'm consistently tarnishing God's character, he will not hold me guiltless. That's a big thing to worry about, to concern myself with. So what's underneath it? What's the thing lying inside my heart? I remember when I was a kid, I had a friend, and my friend used a particular word as his substitute swear word. His word was dang. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting word. And so one time we were at the dinner table, and something wrong happened, and I said, dang it. And my dad looked at me. He was like, what did you just say? I said, dang? And he said, we don't use that word. I'm thinking there's a progression here, right? There's damn, then there's dang, then the next one down is darn, then the next one after that is doe, and then the next one down here is just